my goodness. You haven't been on camera in a while. Hello. I know. She didn't ask for this. Hi everyone. My name is Elizabeth. This is Frizzy Lizzie Stitches, and this is Flosstube number 62. So today is July 5th, 2024, and it's been about 3 weeks since my last video. I've got Piper in my lap. Bobby and Wilson actually just left to go on a walk. So since the 4th of July was yesterday, it is a holiday weekend, and Bobby actually had yesterday off. He has today off because he's working like clinic hours, so his schedule is a little bit more like office-like than hospital-like, if you will. But yeah, so anyway, we both have a 4-day weekend because I normally work Monday through Thursday, so I always have Friday off, but I had yesterday off for the holiday, and yeah, so we both ended up with 4-day weekends, which is honestly awesome. But I made him go take Wilson on a walk because I really don't like filming when he's here, because usually, like, granted I have filmed when Bobby is home. I usually make him put on his headphones and like play his game or do whatever he wants to do, so he can't hear me because I'm just like a tinge self-conscious. But today I was like, you know what, you can take Wilson on a walk and I will film while you're walking. So anyway, I think that's about it as far as intro goes. I do have several projects to share with you today. Let's see, I've got 4 whips, something that I started and finished since my last video, and then I also have a new start, and then I also have a couple of knitting projects. I have some haul, and then some like general, you know, goals, what I've been up to, the normal. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with the first whip. Alright, so whip number 1 is Citrus Biscornu by Satsuma Street, and it's going to look like this when it's done. And this would have been a new start in my last video, so I think it only got a little bit of progress, but that is what it looked like last time. And this is what it looks like now. So I basically, so this chart, I have it loaded into Pattern Keeper, but it doesn't actually like recognize the stitches, so it's counting every single square in the chart as a stitch, which is not the case obviously, because you know there's like blank space around the orange and whatnot. So I had counted the stitches because, you know, you basically just have to count one orange and then multiply it times 4, and there's not a lot of stitching on the back for the bottom Biscornu, or the bottom part of the Biscornu. So anyway, I basically miscounted somehow, so I thought this was a lot closer to a finish than it really was. So I recounted it, now it's accurate, and so now I know that I am 50% done with this Biscornu. I was going to keep stitching on this until it was just complete, but I also kind of like wanted to be able to stitch on some of my other projects. So I kind of switched up my goals, which I'll talk about later. But I basically just stitched on this until it got to 50%. And then I'm gonna try to meet some other goals before I pull this back out again. But yeah, it's looking really cute so far. This is 36 count, Seraphim? I think it's 32 count Seraphim. And the color is Winter Woolens. And yeah, it's a linen. But that's what it looks like. And then my needle minder is the Lover House from, it's Taylor Swift theme, but the needle minder is from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. So yeah, it's looking so cute. When I pull this back out again, I probably will just make sure that the top gets finished, which will be 2 more oranges, and then it's kind of hard to tell on camera, but all of the white, oh, well, not really, if I really look at it. So the border is like a alternating white and brown, and so I've got all the white in all the brown section except for this little leg right here. So there's really not much more border left, and then I'll just have to stitch the 2 oranges. But yeah, that's what that is looking like. I'm keeping this in a project bag that my friend Marjorie made, and because it's just perfect. And I love it when my project matches the bag because it just adds to the fun. But anyway, that is Citrus Biscornu. All right, next up is Deadly Aquarium by Lola Cross Stitch. This is a stitch along that is actively happening right now, and there actually is supposed to be a new part dropping today, but this is what it looks like, I guess, as of me editing. So I don't know what the new part is, but you will, because I'm probably gonna put the new picture up by the time I edit this video. But as of this very second, I am caught up, so I am ready for the release this afternoon. This is what my project looked like when I showed it in my last video. And this is what mine looks like now. So every time I hold this up, I'm just like, because this fabric is gorgeous, and I think this project is looking so good on it. It's 36 count Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers in the color Castle in the Sky. And yeah, so we'll get a little closer there. Boo, but I love how it's looking. It's incredible. I am very proud of myself for keeping up with this. This is the most I've kept up with Lola Crow Stitch Along ever, because I did do her other two. You can see Haunted Library right there, and then my Greenhouse of Oddities is still a whip. But yeah, so the latest release was this Killer Coral, I think is what she called it, and it actually had a ton of backstitch to create kind of like the little anemone looking. I'm not an anemone because they're coral, but the little fingers on the coral, you had to backstitch around a bunch of the stitches, and so hopefully you can kind of see that there. But it added a ton of detail to the coral. Yeah, and I can't quite remember what I had done, because the section right before this were these fish. But I don't know how many of them I had done last time, so. But they're all really cute. It looks so nice. All right, that is my Deadly Aquarium. Okay, I'm looking at my Notion and I'm realizing that I left myself little notes. So it looks like the first video since I last showed this to you, I finished the stonefish. So I don't think I actually had any of those fish in my last video. And then the total amount of stitches that I put in on this since last time was 1,739. So just some nerdy little numbers for you. All right, next on the list is actually kind of a surprise to me, but it is I'm Just Ken, designed by myself. It's going to look like this, or at least this is the mock-up. I am obviously stitching the model. But this is what it looked like the last time I showed it to you, which, I don't know, might have been, I think it was earlier this year, January or February or so. But anyway, I decided to pull this back out because I had an idea for how to finish it, which I'll tell you in a second. But this is what mine looks like so far. So I did, when I originally started this, I did start it 2/1 tent stitch. So it was very tiny, but I just really was not enjoying that process, so I decided to stitch it 2/2. I was like, holy crap, this is gonna be so big. So I was kind of not really knowing how I was gonna finish it because I didn't really want to frame it. But then I was like, oh, you know what would be cute is if this turned out to be a panel on a project folio. So I think what I'm gonna do with the finished piece is use the Tiger Lily Designs project folio pattern and use this as the cover to my folio, and then the coordinating fabric can be Barbie fabric, and I think that'll be a really fun project bag. So now I'm a lot more inspired to stitch on this and get that done so that I can make this into a folio, because that just sounds so cute to me. But this is 32 count Lugana from Picture This Plus in the color Mercedes, and like I said, I'm stitching it 2/2 with the DMC. So I only picked this up 2 times and since you last saw it, and that was like almost 600 stitches. So alright, next up on the list is my Carolyn Manning piece for Manning May. Obviously it's not May anymore, but I'm still working on it. And this is Tentmaker Smalls February, and that's what it's gonna look like. And then this is what it would have looked like last time I showed it to you. And the fabric is a little see-through, so I gotta use my board. This is what mine looks like now. That is very washed out. Oh, it's so washed out. The friggin' sun. That's better right there. That's what the color looks like. Maybe if I put it on this corner and show it on this side, it'll be the right color. I mean, it's a little more representative of what's going on. But anyway, I film in front of this like giant patio window, and the lighting can be a little weird sometimes. And the fact that I'm wearing a white shirt probably isn't helping, but things just get really washed out. Like, see, it looks like the fabric's like white or something, and it's not. It's like a soft, green. Anyway, this is where it's at. It's very cute and little. And let's see, this is 290 stitches is what I put in on this, and that got me to 25%. So I'll talk more about this percent goal thing in a moment, but that's where we're at. Otherwise I wouldn't have picked this up to work on it. So but yeah, it's looking pretty good. I don't know how I'm gonna finish this one either, because like it's another one of those things where like I don't really think it needs to be framed. I feel like it needs something else. So I don't know if maybe I could turn it into a pin cushion of some kind, or if it would also make a cute little project bag like cover or whatever, but I always fold it up in this tiny little square. And I keep it in like a tiny little, this is like a bag from Glossier. But yeah, that is my Carolyn Manning. Okay, so next up is my start and finish since last time. So that was like a cross between I am and I have. I have been trying to stitch the little Lizzie Kate the Lizzie Kate seasonal smalls for the 4 seasons, and I'm trying to stitch them all this year. So a few months ago, back in March, I stitched the spring one, and I did full like color and cotton conversion, and this is on 32 count vintage country mocha, and I finished it, you know, within a few weeks. So since the first day of summer was June 20th, I think, I decided it was time to do the summer one. So I went ahead and started it and finished it. It looks like that right there, this one. And again, I did another color and cotton conversion, stitched it on 32 count vintage country mocha, and this is what we got. So I think it turned out super cute. I literally stitched this in 2 days. I started it on the 22nd and I finished it on the 23rd of June. So yeah, I think it looks so cute. I did post a photo on my Instagram that has all the flosses that I used, so in case you're wanting to stitch this and you like how my colors turned out and you want to replicate that, then that is there for you. Some of the colors were special edition because I was in the Color and Cotton Floss Club for a while, so I had quite a bit of stash to be able to pull from to do this. But yeah, my plan is to like finish do all the stitching for the seasons, and then I'll probably sit down and turn all 4 of them into pillows at one time. But we're halfway there, so I will be starting the autumn one whenever the first day of fall is. I think, is that September? I think it's September. So probably like September 21st or something like that. But yeah, that will be when I plan to stitch the autumn one. Okay, and the last project I have to show you is actually a new start. And this is going to be a Christmas gift for one of my family members. And I am pretty sure they do not watch my videos, but I'm pretty sure that I do follow them on my Instagram. So you probably won't see this on my Instagram until it's all stitched up and everything. But I figured I could talk about it in my video, and you know, if they do happen to see it, then whatever. But this is Reflections of New Orleans by Ink Circles, and it looks like this. And I decided to stitch it on this gorgeous purple fabric, which is actually the same fabric that I'm stitching my skipjack sampler on, which I haven't put any work in on lately. But yeah, so I started it on the other corner, and there is a loose piece of thread because I kind of stopped in the middle of it, but this is what mine looks like so far. So this fabric is 36 count linen from Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers in the color I Lilac You a Lot. And then the floss that you're seeing here is a Dinky Dye Silk. Dinky Dye Silk in the color Aussie Gold, which you cannot read that. There we go, Aussie Gold. But it looks so good on this purple. Looks amazing. I'm obsessed. I am using 2 strands, which might seem like a lot to some people, but I'm really liking how it's looking because it looks very bold. And that's really what I wanted, because since there are so many little motifs hidden throughout this mandala, I wanted to make sure that they were like very easy to tell what they were by being filled in as much as they could. So yeah, we've got a little fleur-de-lis, some saxophone, or sorry, trumpets, and then I have a saxophone here, and then this is actually the start of like a little crawfish. So yeah, I think this will be perfect. They live in the Mississippi Gulf Coast, so they visit New Orleans a lot. So this is gonna be super cool. All right, so that was all my cross stitching. I'm gonna move into my knitting now, and I only have 2 projects because, as you know, that is all I can handle, so that's all I have. So let me get those and I'll be right back. All right, so my first knitting whip is my sock. And this is where we're at. I'm almost done with the toe. I got a few rounds in on it the past couple days, and so I really honestly could get this done today. But yeah, this is what it's looking like so far. It's kind of weird to see it like that because the foot is all folded strangely. But as you can see, it looks like a sock. This is the Ruby and Roses Taylor Swift collection. This is the color Love Story. And I'm sorry that it's so washed out because my natural lighting is just going crazy today. But that's what it looks like. And then it's the heel and the toe, I'm using this is the color that came in the sock set, which I think is called like Blush or something like that. But it looks super cute. And yeah, so we're almost done with sock number 1. I have been able to try it on because I think I told you in my last video that I actually sized down on this sock because I knit this entire sock on my 9-inch circulars. I only switched it to the magic loop to do the toe. But my gauge on 9-inch circulars is a lot looser than my gauge when knitting the magic loop method. So I sized down on my sock like a whole size per the Crazy Sock Lady pattern. So instead of casting on 64 stitches, I cast on 56 stitches. And the sock does fit. It is a smidge tight. I think the yarn might stretch just a little bit when I go to block it. But I think for my next pair of socks, I'm definitely going to cast on 60 stitches because I think that will be the perfect fit for me, because it'll be obviously a little looser than this one, but it'll still be tighter than the 64 stitch sock that I knit. So that's my plan. I wasn't wanting to like rip out this sock and start this one over to cast on 60 stitches because like I said, the sock does technically fit, but I'm still going to continue knitting the second sock the same size. And truth be told, my feet swell a little bit in the summertime because it's just so hot and humid. So they might fit better in the wintertime. Only time will tell. So anyway, but regardless, they're super cute. I'm obsessed. I really enjoy knitting socks because I feel like the time that it takes to knit them is like the perfect amount of time. Like it's not too fast where you're like, oh, I didn't even make that because it took me like a day, but it's also not so long where you're like, oh my gosh, when am I ever gonna finish this project? So anyway, love knitting socks. Can't wait to finish this pair, because the next pair that I'm going to knit, even though I'm still technically like testing out sizing and stuff, is gonna be the pair of socks for my grandma for Christmas. And we basically have the same size foot. She actually has tried on a pair of socks that I knit and they did fit her well, so I was just gonna make sure that the fit of the socks I make her matches those socks that she already has tried on before. So, and I'm not doing any contrasting like heel or toe for those, so if it isn't the right size, I won't be as like discouraged to rip it back, because I won't have to worry about like another color being in there. But yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. And then I also, my mother-in-law, she watches my videos sometimes, and she heard me talk about my knitting socks for my grandma, and so she told me that she would definitely wear a pair of socks if I knit her some, so I'm definitely gonna do that as well. So yeah, I'm really excited. My next knitting project is my Musselburgh hat. And this is a hat patterned by Ysolda Teague, and basically you knit like a giant tube of a hat, and then you fold it inside of itself. And so this is what mine is looking like so far. I don't really know where it was last time because I didn't put a stitch marker down or anything, but it kind of is easier to see if I fan it out like this. But this is what it's looking like. The yarn that I'm using is called Down on the Farm by Big Sky Yarn Company. And I am almost done with my increases on the crown, and then I'll be able to switch these to my 16-inch cable and just start knitting them around. So yeah, that's what it's looking like so far. My little Musselburgh hat. Bobby, obviously I got his done like right as summer was starting, so he hasn't really gotten to wear his yet, but he loves it and he is very excited to wear it once it does get cold. So hopefully my hat will be done before it gets cold outside, and then we can be all cute and matchy with our Musselburgh hats. Alright, so those were all of my crafty projects. I actually do have some haul today, so I wanted to share that with you. When I went to STITCHCon, I really didn't buy very much. Like, I think I bought like a piece of fabric and some floss or something, but it wasn't very much. So when I got home, I decided that I would buy, there were some charts that I wanted to get, and so I placed a 1, 2, 3 stitch order. So let's see what we have here. So they're all kind of, well, there's like basically 2 categories, I suppose. I purchased a lot of the tiny towns. My friend Maddie actually gave me the big hearted tiny town because she stitched this, I guess, last year, and so she was like, hey, you can have this one. And I was like, thanks. So got that one, and then these are the ones that I purchased. So I got Halloween tiny town, Frosty tiny town, Seaside tiny town, Blooming tiny town. This is the More Any tiny town. I already have the Any tiny town. And then Harvest tiny town. So I'm really excited to stitch these. Kind of similar to how I'm stitching the Lizzie Kate season projects this year. I think next year I'm going to try to stitch a bunch of these tiny towns. I don't know how many I'll actually do because obviously these are a little bit bigger than the these little season smalls. But if I can get like maybe 2 or 3 done, that would be awesome. My plan is to kind of like Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch has done. I want to get one of those scissor roll bobbin things, where you can like put your scissors in the top, and I want to finish it as like an interchangeable thing where I can just like switch out whatever season it is. And I think she did like a button closure or something like that. So yeah, that's what I want to do with them. I think it would look really cute. I also feel like with the, where is it? With the More Any Tiny Town, that one I kind of want to combine with the Any Tiny Town, the other chart. And I kind of want to keep it the same size so that it can still switch out on that bobbin thing. But I want it to kind of like handpick my favorite ones to kind of make one like little conjoined tiny town that has some stuff that's like been iconic to me in my life. And so it's not like it's going to represent one town, but it'll represent like pieces of different places that I've lived. And I think that would be really cute because I would definitely keep keepsakes on there. And then I probably would, one of them is I think it might be on the other one. There's like a bakery or a cafe or something. And I kind of want to switch that to say Jody's because when I was growing up, there was a bakery called Jody's Bakery and they had such good cookies. And yeah, so anyway, there's just like things like that where I just want to switch out the little buildings to be stuff that is like reminiscent to me in my life. But anyway, so I got those. And then I also got these Teresa Kogut charts. When she dropped these, I was like, oh, I love those so much. So these are Just a Girl and Making Beautiful Things. Sorry for the glare. But this one is Molly, and it says Just a Girl, and then in her dress it says With Needle and Thread. And then this one is Polly, and it says Making Beautiful Things in her dress. So if you put them together, I'm so sorry for this glare. If you put them together, it says Just a Girl with Needle and Thread Making Beautiful Things, which I think is so cute. And as my friend Cam pointed out, if you arrange them in this way, they're like looking at each other. Because you can kind of see her eyes are like looking this way, and then Polly's looking this way, so they look like they're looking at each other. And anyway, I think they would look really cute together on the same piece of fabric. And I'll have to redo my math just to double check, but I'm pretty sure if you stitch them like right up next to each other, that they will fit on a fat 1/8 of 36 count. So anyway, these will probably be a new start next year. As I will get into plans in a moment. I have like started a bunch of things this year, but I've also finished them because they've been smalls, and I'm realizing that there's a lot of stuff that I have yet to finish that is like some of my older stuff that I really want to get finished before I start bigger projects like this. So anyway, they are super cute. I'm gonna stitch them one day, just not in this year. Okay, and then my last pieces of haul are actually my Bestitch Me fabrics of the month. So I have fabrics for May and June. So I've got my May and June fabric. My May fabric was a little interesting because whenever Brandy mailed my fabric, it did not actually ever leave the post office, and so it kind of got AWOL and was kind of MIA, and so she had to send me a new piece of fabric. So I didn't actually get my May fabric until like almost the end of June. But anyway, so this is what the May fabric is. It's called Gray Magic, and it's very pretty. It's like the perfect gray neutral, honestly. I feel like I might have a couple grays in my stash, but not very many. And so I'm really excited about this because I think a lot of things, it has a potential for a lot of different charts. But since it did take forever to get my fabric and there was like a whole, delay with the post office and whatnot, when Brandy sent me my like, what is the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it. Replacement fabric, because I never got the first one. Anyway, she added some bonus in there. So she gave me these little sample silks, and look how cute they are. So I'm so excited. These are 10 yards each. They don't have any names because they all say sample silk on the back. But they're so cute, and honestly, I feel like they look pretty good on this fabric. Not gonna lie. But yeah, so I'm super excited to use these. I definitely want to find a project where I can use all of them together because I just feel like this color palette is really pretty. But yeah, so thank you, Brandy, for your amazing customer service. I did not mind having to wait, and it was even more of a surprise when I opened it up because I just thought it was going to be my fabric and there was silk in there, and I was like, oh my god! So yeah, anyway, that was my May fabric of the month. And then for June, I did not have any issues with my June. The post office did their job. But this is called Aquarius, and both of these are 36 count, by the way. But this is what Aquarius looks like. And honestly, I feel like Deadly Aquarium would have also looked really beautiful on this. So, yeah, totally gorgeous. I love having a blue because I feel like it's like a colorful way to still be somewhat neutral. But yeah, anyway, that is Aquarius. Alright, so that is all my haul. I kind of want to touch on plans for a hot second. So obviously I still want to keep up with the Deadly Aquarium sale. I've been doing this good so far. I'm pretty sure that the part that gets released today is Exhibit 6. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be like 13 exhibits total. So I think 6, 7, and 8. And then I think we get a break. And then we might get 9, 10... or maybe it's till 9 and then we get, I know there's one more scheduled break. I just can't remember when it is. But yeah, so I'm doing good keeping up with that, and I want to keep that up because then that means that Deadly Aquarium will be finished this year, which will be amazing to not carry it over to next year as a whip. But yeah, so the other thing that I've been doing between last video and this video is really beefing up my Notion. So basically, before I had a cross-stitch project. I basically have 3 databases now. So I have my cross-stitch projects, I have a stitching tracker, and I have a DMC collection. So the DMC collection and the stitching, or in the cross-stitch projects were already talking to each other in the sense that I could like look at the project and know what flosses were in there. And it would also make it easier to like kit up the floss because then I could filter by, you know, what flosses are called for this project, and then figure out where the floss was. So that is a good, like, that's working for me. And then the other piece of it though was my stitching tracker was not talking to my cross stitch projects. So I had this log of how many stitches I had been stitching each day on what project, but nothing was really happening with that information yet. So I have since been able to figure out how to add the data that I'm collecting in the stitching log to my cross stitch projects. So there's a feature called roll up, which is what I'm using, which basically it is looking at every time I have mentioned the project, and it's adding up all the logs values together. So it'll tell me how many stitches I have stitched on that project, which is amazing. So, and there of course were some projects that I hadn't been working on when I started the stitching tracker log. So I did have to go in there and make some like reconciliation entries so that it would show the correct number of stitches that I've stitched so far on the project. So now I've got a total number of stitches column, I've got a total like stitch progress column, and then from there I'm able to do lots of things. So I have a column that tells me how many stitches are left to get to 100%, how many stitches are left to get to 75%, 50%, 25%. And then I've also added like a custom goal category where I can type in however many stitches I want to get to, and then it'll tell me how many stitches I have left to meet that goal. So that is kind of what I'm doing now as far as like determining what I'm going to work on and such. Because as I said in my last video, I basically want to have 2 slots where one of them is Deadly Aquarium and then the other one is just like working on to achieve some goal, whether it be finishing a project or in most cases that I've realized now, it's going to be to reach a certain percentage goal on a project. I was noticing that a lot of my projects to get to 100% was just kind of a really big number that was kind of intimidating, and for me, if it's anything over like 1,500, I kind of feel a little bit overwhelmed. So by having these percentage goals, I can say, okay, like instead of trying to get this project finished, let's just get it to 25%. And then I can work on something else and maybe get that to 25%. And then I can come back to this other project and then get to the next section, which would be 50% and then 75%. So that's kind of what I'm working on now. I would like to share what I've done with my Notion with you all in like an updated Notion video, but I kind of want to wait until if I add something else, just so that it's kind of like I'm ready to talk about it and I'm not still kind of like playing around with it and whatnot. So I guess I'm still developing like my favorite way to do it. But yeah, so anyway, I've been extra nerdy with that because I'm able to actually use these numbers that I'm typing in. And I also have like different views, so it'll just show me like, these are the goals that are less to 1,000 stitches to meet the goal, and stuff like that. So I've gotten exceptionally nerdy with my Notion and I'm loving it. So I'm gonna keep playing around with that. So Deadly Aquarium will always be in one slot, and then the other slot will always be one of these little percentage goals. So yeah, that is kind of my plans. And so I'm gonna take a quick breather and then I will tell you what I've been up to. Okay, so I really haven't been up to too much. I did finish Bridgerton season 3 and I loved it. I have no idea when they're gonna do the next season, but I think I do need to go watch the Queen Charlotte like kind of bonus TV show that goes along with Bridgerton, because that just seems like the obvious next step. But yeah, so I finished Bridgerton season 3 and I don't think I will read the books just because I've kind of heard from multiple sources that the TV show is just so much better, and not in every aspect, I guess, but in most aspects. So I feel like since there's just so much stuff that I also want to read, I'm gonna just be happy with watching the show and then reading the other stuff that I want to read. But I feel like if I did ever read it, I would probably do like an audiobook just so that I can, you know, work on my crafts while I'm listening to it. But yeah, anyway, I really love Bridgerton. I'm totally a Bridgerton girly now. And then I actually did get new glasses. My vision had changed a little bit since I hadn't gotten new glasses in like 6 years, and because my vision had been staying consistent, but actually did need a little tweaking. And I went to the eye doctor like forever ago now, like back in December, but it wasn't until recently that I actually got new glasses. And I also got prescription sunglasses, and I'm very excited about that because there's plenty of times where I've wanted to wear my glasses, but I choose not to because I know that I need sunglasses. I can't just not have them. And I wear sunglasses a lot, like driving around town and just being outside in general. So I was very excited to get some prescription sunglasses. So you probably will see me in glasses a lot more. Hoping to give my eyes a rest from the contacts because my eyes are a little dry, and so I feel like not wearing contacts for the foreseeable future will probably help my eyes relax a little bit. So yeah, anyway, not to get too gross about eye stuff, but yeah, anyway, that's my plan, to keep wearing my glasses. And now that I have cute new ones, it makes it even more fun to wear. So yeah, and let's see. I've also, obviously, in my Taylor Swift obsession, been keeping track with what's happening on the Eras tour, and the whole thing with like Travis going on stage was so fun. And I'm just like, and also him and his brother Jason like talking about it on their podcast is also really cute. And I'm just really happy because Taylor and Travis seem like they're both having such a good time, and they're both like supporting each other, and it's just so fun to see and witness online. But yeah, and what else? I think that's kind of it, like what's been happening to me. I did hit a huge milestone here on YouTube. I reached 4,000 subscribers, and I can't really believe it, like, at all, because I didn't even realize I was close enough to get to 4,000, and then I had like a notification on my phone that was like, woohoo, you hit 4,000, and I was like, what? So yeah, thank you if you're watching this and you're subscribed. And if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, then maybe you should because we have a good time over here. But yeah, anyway, so I'm super excited about that milestone, and I don't really have any plans to, like, I guess, like, celebrate other than just be excited about it and thank you for sticking around with me. So yeah, I think that's gonna be about it today. I've kind of run out of things to talk about, and we both know what happens when that's the case. I just start rambling about nothing. So I'm gonna let you go. I hope you all are having a great weekend, day, night, wherever you are, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! And then I was like, holy shit, oh, holy crap.